Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room. We'll get the screen share going on here. It looks like the overnight had a fairly solid move lower. Fairly quiet for most of the European session. Then a couple hours before the North American Open, the market took a little bit of a nosedive here. Yesterday's session turned out to be fairly bearish overall. We are faced with a small gap here relative to where the market left off yesterday. Looks like trading closed at around 69.12, and we're opening here around 68.90 or just below. A very familiar number, that 68.90. That's been an important number for the last 2 or 3 days. This whole range around 6,900, the market not moving very far from there. Okay, getting a little bit of a rally to start. I'm going to try to give them a little bit more lead time here this morning. And by that, I mean, unless I get a really, really strong signal, I'm going to wait for opening range, get a little bit more structure, like I say. All right, you can see here on the Eagle, this is starting to resemble a little bit of a bear flag to me. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with the term, a bear flag is when you get this little bit of a pullback in a trending market. And what tends to happen is the market will break out and resume that trend eventually. In an uptrending market, it's called a bull flag. And again, the best ones have this kind of shape to it. Occasionally, you will get one either up or down, and it will go sideways, which is okay. Sometimes it will even have a little bit of an upward drift. Those don't entice me as much. The sideways ones, as well as the proper shaped ones, those are ones I don't mind trading, but the other ones are a little bit dicey. All right, here now on the Eagle, we're actually producing a green bar sell. I do believe that is our first in-sync Eagle signal of the day for those of you who like to get on board early with that kind of trade. The Hawk now doing a first micro-macro cross. The Falcon and the Raptor still slightly bullish. You can see here a few minutes before the opening price, the Raptor was actually giving some counter trend signals. And now our clouds are in sync again to the short side. So here's that little bit of a pullback, and now we're getting the number one signal to sell. What time is it? Oh, we're only 5 minutes into the day. Seems like such a busy day already. Now, there's nothing wrong with when you're waiting for the market to unfold, when you're waiting for a little bit more structure, to wait for what I call it a second push entry. All that means is I allow the signal to engage, and then I see from where the signal flinches. So the signal turns right here. That tells me that I can probably short from this level right here, below those lows. Ideally, stop should go above the high. It's still a number one signal, by the way. It's just that I'm waiting for the market to show me that it's ready to actually resume the trend rather than just buy in. Now, why would I do that? Well, the immediate bias of this market is rather sideways. It is a little conflicted. Okay, we're back into the hard edge now. So this next signal that prints is going to be a number three signal. And there we go. Now we have our hard edge bounce. Now you could do the same thing. Logistically speaking, we have a little bit more room on this signal. And by that, I mean, if this market is going to reverse, we have a fair amount of room to do something with our trade before it potentially runs into some sort of trouble here. Okay, so a pair of number three signals now, and the market trying to get a little bit more bearish perhaps, resume that bigger trend from the overnight, or maybe not. See, I was going to sim the first trade because for whatever reason, my first trades have not been working out. The market brings me in, tags me out, I dig a little hole for myself, and then I got to spend the next couple of trades digging myself out of the hole. All right, well, a little bit of resistance. So it looks like we've got perhaps a little bit of a sideways trading range going on or developing. Obviously, it looks like there's some selling here at the top end. At least a little bit of selling. I'm not going to go so far to say the buyers are going to rally the market from here, although it is starting to look a little bit stronger, isn't it? Good question here from Phil. Phil asks, in your experience, what percentage of the trades are successful with the 1, 2, and 3 signals? If you just, there's a great little tool from Indicator Warehouse. It's called the Profit Finder. Now, the Profit Finder is actually a back testing tool, and it will allow you to crunch the numbers and learn exactly those kinds of things. In fact, here, I bet you, because I think the arrows are only printing, yes, okay, the arrows are only printing on the signals. So I'm going to put the Profit Finder on here just for a moment, as soon as I find it. There it is. And it allows you, it's quite the tool. It allows you to set profit targets. It allows you to experiment with different stop loss orders. It allows you to do a whole lot of things. Now I'm going to, all right, only calculate on arrows. Oh, hold on, my session times are all mixed up here. 1 second. Okay, so it looks a little cumbersome. There we go. But this tool will allow you to figure everything out instantly. Now, if, again, we're not doing anything with our profit targets, we're not doing anything with our stop losses. I think the initial stop loss is something like 10 ticks. But if you took every single signal and you ran a 10-tick stop loss, you would lose $3,500. So how is that helpful? Well, from here, you can start to experiment, and you can say, all right, what if I went with let's just do a simple stop loss change. Let's do a trailing stop. Let's do just a basic ATR stop, and we'll give it a variable of 3 so it's not too tight. Oh, let's see, I did something wrong. I'm not going to spend a lot of time doing this, but I haven't played with the Profit Finder for a little while, so bear with me, I'm a little rusty here. But what I was going to get at is you can tweak your performance. Oh, look at that. Going to the ATR stop, we actually did a little bit worse. But you can play with this and you can get yourself to a profitable position. And that would be taking every single signal. Now, before you lose heart and say, oh my goodness, what kind of system is this? I'm going to lose $3,000 or $4,000. That's not how it works. What we have to do, remember, is we have to take a look at the overall context when we're trading. So in respect to Phil's question, what are the percentages of the 1, 2, and 3 signals? They can be very high in the right context. So by that I mean is if you have a trending market, right? Obviously a trending market. We're going to be looking for any kind of pullback, anything even close to a hard edge to give us a number 3 signal and a chance to get back in. Even these little discretionary signals are okay to take once you have a trend. When you're in a market like we are right now, there's really no trend. So we're going to use the risk component of the trade manager to protect ourselves so that, okay, you incur a losing trade, at least you haven't lost more than you can afford. Phil makes the comment, it seems the market changes regularly. Yes, it does. And, you know, patience is more than a virtue for a trader. Patience is survival. Most people don't have the patience to sit here for most of the day and just watch the market go sideways and not do anything about it. And yet, that's pretty much what is required. Okay, so we're getting a little bit bullish now. We've got a couple hard edge bounces. The market did not seem to want to go lower. So we may have a little bit more of a bullish take on the market from here. I've had system owners who tell me, now I haven't confirmed these numbers, but one fellow told me that he was getting 83% win ratio on his system. But he trades very selectively. I'm not going to pick on Mark, but I know that's one of Mark's cornerstones is he doesn't trade every single signal. Yeah, see, Mark says I'm over 80%. And I know Mark spends a lot of time just sitting there, just sitting and watching, strumming the ukulele, playing the harmonica, whatever it is he does while he's waiting for the next signal to develop. I actually picked up a ukulele the other day. Mark says I'll have to look into those. I picked up a ukulele the other day. I'm trying to get our grandson interested in a musical instrument because he's the right age. I was his age more or less when I learned a musical instrument, and I'm so glad my parents made me take a musical instrument because now as an adult I can actually enjoy it versus if I were actually trying to learn how to play as an adult. It would be a lot more difficult. But he didn't seem to be all that interested, so I have a new ukulele to play with. All right, so this number 3 signal looked like it worked out. At least it got as high as our high probability profit objective, so it would have been a profitable trade. We're back now kind of toward the top end of this trading zone. Let's see if they give us another pushback, if the buyers get interested. And just thinking about Phil's comment a little bit more, there's going to be days where the market just does not seem to want to cooperate. You buy, it goes down. You sell, it goes up. If you find yourself in one of those days, do yourself a favor, don't go chasing the market around. Just resign yourself to the fact that the market's in a grinding mode. It's just going to go back and forth, try to stop out as many traders as possible. And go do something else that day. Trust me, anything is preferable to losing money. All right, here we go. Again, kind of this big bear flag, and it looks like we may be trying to break out of that bear flag. So I'm going to take a look here at this is actually what I would call an early number one signal. Let me place it and then I will explain it to you. All right, with the number one signal, we know the clouds cross, there's a pullback, and then the signal. All right, that's what makes a number one signal. An early number one signal occurs when the clouds are almost fully crossed. This will not print as a signal. This is just something you have to learn to recognize. The full-on number one signal will not print until the clouds are fully crossed. See, like right here. Clouds cross, there's the pullback, then there's the attempt to resume the new trend. That's the full-on number one signal. The early number one signal, like I say, you just learn to spot it. Yeah, Scott, you're right. Scott says the support and resistance lines are on the mark today. Look at that. We hit it on the number here. Okay, this one, maybe the clouds just crossed a little bit too late, but this you could qualify as a full-on number one signal as well. All right, come on. Now, I'm going to take a chance here that we're going to get a breakout below the low of the morning. And I'm going to use our support and resistance suite here as the next profit objective. So we're below the primary support. There is a tendency for the market to move to zones. So there would be zone, oh, actually that's zone one, there's zone two. So I'm looking for zone three, a very, very ambitious target, but we'll see. First we have to deal with the low of the morning. The other reason I'm being a little bit more ambitious is I'm trying to offset the earlier stinker. lot of people get into trading thinking the objective is never to have a losing trade. They think if I just never have a losing trade, I won't lose any money. I hate to be the one to tell this to you. The objective of trading is to make money, regardless of whether or not you have a losing trade. One of my most profitable months ever, I was only profitable about 40% of the time. I know, makes no sense, but it's true. Well, we're sure having a tough time here. All right, let's see if they can break down below the low of the morning. Obviously, there's some buying here, so the buyers, there's been buying here, there's been buying here, obviously there's some buying here. So there's a whole lot of exit orders just below the low of the morning. If we can engage those exit orders, those would obviously be sell orders, and that could help push the market a little bit lower. Oh, Scott says the shorts are perfect for a fib extension on your lines. 61.8 and 100% fib prices match 53.29 and 27.39. Well, there you go. The fib traders are copying my support and resistance lines. Thanks, David. David reminding me that 68.75 yesterday's low, and that's kind of where we're stuck here at the moment. All right, so all through here, we've got exit orders. They're probably not too far off of the low, a tick or two or three. I would say most of them are no more than a point or maybe 2 points. Nock is asking, Eric, what is the difference between a number one long and number one long trade setup? Okay, that's referring to the audio alerts, and you can actually customize those. The number one long will print when the signal is complete. All right. The number one long trade set up will print when you get a warning dot. So there's two components to every trade. When the signal parameters are first beginning to develop, and when about half of all the programming parameters have been met, you will get a warning dot along with the audio alert. When all the signal parameters have been met, you will get a triangle and hash mark along with an audio alert telling you that the signal parameters are met. Now, if you find those signal parameter, the audio alerts distracting, you can go to your Raptor and you can actually turn them off. Audible, there we go. Sounds enabled. No, wait a minute. There's somewhere else you can turn them off. I guess that is. It's funny. I have mine turned on, but I don't have my audio alerts. What I have a tendency to do is I actually make them all the same. I just say, wow, I didn't know I had all these different choices. But that's what they mean. The first one will refer to the warning dot. The second one refers to when the signal is complete. Okay, we're still fighting here with the lows. Got a little bit of a bearish break. On the next swing lower here, I'm going to start bringing my stops in. Really? So the number 2 signal is a counter trend signal. And it's going to develop when the market retests, in this case, the low, and then it comes back and all of a sudden there are enough parameters there to form a buy. Now, typically when it retests the low, it's going to come up short. It gives you this 1, 2, 3 type formation, or some traders refer to this as a W formation for obvious reasons. Occasionally, however, it will dip just a little bit below the prior swing low. Just a little, not so much as to really wipe out the low. And it will still qualify as a number 2 signal. I will warn you right now, counter trend signals you need to be careful of. The best counter trend signals are going to develop when the trading band becomes very, very broad. When the trading band starts to get really wide like this, then you can open yourself up more to the possibility of a counter trend. When the trading band is kind of narrow and it seems like a trend is just trying to develop, then you probably want to be a little bit more selective. All right, I think it's probably time to get some stops going on here. Oh, don't tag me out yet, you stinkers. We're getting some pretty big swings through here. Not quite the follow through I was hoping for. I thought it was going to be a really fast move lower as we engage some of those exit orders. Kind of dragging their feet here. Not really happy about it. Yeah, I don't think they're going to let me away with this swing. It's just a little bit too much buying pressure, and honestly, I don't feel like leaving it back at break even, because here we go, we're going to hit the hard edge, and that would have been my break even. So what can you say? You got a very conflicted market here this morning. You can see the hawk very, very conflicted. We did get some decent signals on the way down, but whenever you see all these yellow bars cropping up, that can be a little bit of an issue. The falcon, yeah, look at that. We got the whole roller coaster effect going on with our falcon trend line. It's all over the map. The Raptor 2 is starting to introduce a lot more yellow bars. It's not a deal breaker, but it does suggest a little bit more sideways congestion. All right. We're producing another sell signal here now on the Raptor. It is another hard edge bounce. Whenever we encounter the hard edge, we anticipate some sort of reaction. You could wait for a second push. There you go. You got the second push, or you could even look to short it below here. That's the safer trade. Give it a few ticks. All right, we're getting this market pinched a little bit now. When we come back with this buy signal, this is going to be yet another number 2 signal. I'm wondering whether or not we're going to get a bullish break from here. We spent a lot of time going sideways. Don't get me wrong, the trend is still down. Yeah, our trading band really messed up here at the moment. All right, let's put that away. Here the hawk is getting a little bit more bullish already. We actually have a first micro macro cross to buy. But we're in the hard edge. We're in the hard edge here of the eagle and the raptor. Looks like the eagle's going to actually give us a green bar sell. Yeah, like Mark says, it's an exercise in patience for sure, and that's the kind of day it is today. I'm still favoring a move lower. If I had to choose, I might be a little bit more bearish overall. There is a late filter entry in the Falcon here to buy. That's a pretty reliable signal. If that one follows through, we're at least going to get a little short-term hop higher. So it would look something like this. Look at the filter though. It's like a tartan that's all broken up. Well, let's leave that alone. While I have everyone, a reminder, no trading room on Monday. I'm going to be out of town on Monday. Scott asks, going anywhere fun? I hope so. I hope it involves a golf course. We'll see. Yeah, Vegas. No, not going, not going quite that far. All right, here they come again, and let's see what they can do this time. So we had the, oh, actually here on the Eagle now. We have a green bar sell signal into the hard edge. You can do a couple of things here to help keep yourself on the right side of the trade. We're getting a second push opportunity. That's the most important part. And wow, it's just a mess going on. Again, you get so many signals printing here, one after the other after the other. This should be shouting to you, hey, we're in a sideways trend. Use extra caution. Very, very sloppy cloud crossover forming here. That would be a number one signal. It won't print as such because once again the clouds are not fully crossed, but that's what it is. So we have the market kind of stuck. We have it available to the short side or available to the long side. And while I would probably prefer a short signal, I would not rule out the possibility of a bullish rally here. All right. And I was just about to try to move that out of the way. So all this selling pressure here didn't follow through. Can eliminate that order. And the buyers making a big rally. Hooray for us. Hey, way to go, David. David says I got 7 points out of that move. Nicely done. It's when you're learning to use your tools. I'm just going to focus here on the Raptor because I know there's a few new Raptor traders in the room. I think it's important that you learn to anticipate your signals. So when you see the clouds beginning to cross, right away you should be thinking, oh, there's going to be a number one signal form. And you can see that even though the signal parameters were not perfect, it was still a number one signal. The market, the clouds got more bullish, right? They changed the direction. They went from here to here. They got more bullish. There's the pullback and then the signal. That's your number one signal. Okay, the clouds are not fully crossed, but they are 80, 90% of the way there. The clouds are fully crossed at this point, so now we're getting the pullback. This next buy signal that prints will, in fact, be a number one signal. What also had me thinking a little bit more bullish was the late filter entry signal here on the Falcon, just knowing how reliable that signal is. Now is asking, how can I change the color of the triangle and hash mark? That's easy enough. You go here to your indicator window. You find your Raptor 2.0 and you just highlight whatever it is you want to change. So your buy alerts, those would be your warning dots. Buy entry point, that's your hash mark. Oh, sorry, a buy alert, that's the triangle. Sorry, my mistake. Warning dot, and then so on. You can make all your color changes right there. I think we ran over a few of the sellers on that rally, and now we're back right at the high of the day. This is where all the selling began, so we'll see if there's still selling pressure up here. Hey, way to go, Mark. Mark says, I'm still nursing a runner. Yeah, hopefully they don't push back too hard off of the highs. All right, back heading toward the hard edge. So they're going to double check on this breakout. Excuse me. whether or not they're serious about staying long. Oh, Mark says it just got tagged, but not a bad trade. No, sir, not a bad trade at all. Whenever you encounter the highs of the day, it's also a support and resistance line. You should anticipate some sort of reaction there. Not saying it's going to be a full-blown reverse. Here's a thing, though. You're printing your number one signal. Does that invalidate the number one signal? No, it does not. But there are a couple of ways that you can address this. First and foremost, you can look at the chart and you can determine whether or not you believe this to be one of the best trades of the day. Remember, we're not here to trade often, but when we do trade, we want to be profitable. I know, stupid statement, but you would be surprised how many people equate trading more with making more money, or at least that's their hope. They come into trading with the production line mentality. Oh, if I can only trade more often, I'll make that much more money. No, that's not how it works. In fact, trading more often usually has the exact opposite effect. You actually end up losing more, not making more. So your first question is this a really good looking setup? Is this something I want to risk money on? And to answer that question, you have to look left. You have to look to the left side of your chart and try to determine what's going on. Is this market still in a sideways trading range? Is this market perhaps breaking out of a trading range? Am I far enough away from the highs of the day that maybe I can do something with my profit target or exit order to keep myself out of trouble? All right, so looking at those types of things, I would say, no, this is probably not the best place to get in right here. But you're thinking, well, maybe this market is trying to get more bullish. Maybe we're breaking out of this. We've made a really, really extended bottom. Maybe we're trying to get more bullish. I want to look for a reason to get into this market. All right, well, if that's the case, then you can perhaps wait and see how the market reacts at the highs. And that will offer a second push entry opportunity for you. And all that means is you now know the extent of the buying and where the sellers are. I wouldn't enter, just one tick above there. I would probably give it a couple of ticks. But now you have a zone that you could say, all right, if the market gets above this area, then I'll consider buying. And what that does is it just keeps you out of a market that hasn't committed just yet. Yeah, like David makes a great point here. One or two good trades is all that it takes to make money on a long-term basis. I call it the best kept secret in trading because nobody focuses on that. Everybody focuses on trading more. Everybody, and me included, I would love nothing better than to look at a chart, and this is how my cousin likes to trade. Of course, he trades in hindsight. I would love nothing better than to recognize the market's turning and buy right there, or the market's turning and sell right there. That'd be great. Unfortunately, I don't have that ability. But does that mean if I end up buying here or selling here, I can't make money? Well, of course you can. You can see that there was a reasonable amount of follow through on both those breakouts or signals. The key is to be right. And when you're right, you make more money by trading more contracts. And right now, it looks like they are still non-committed. And folks, I'm sorry, I need to close up the trading room a little bit early here. Like I said, I've got another appointment I need to get to. So I got to cut the room a little bit short this morning. Again, no trading room on Monday. I will talk to you on Tuesday. If you're going to trade the rest of the day, my goodness, I think we're stuck. I think we're just going to see more sideways trading. The market's going to get toward the lows. There'll be a little bit of a bounce back. It'll get toward the highs, and it will push lower. Can't really see us going too far one way or the other today. All right, I will talk to you Tuesday. Bye for now.